So this is how you determine very quickly if a brand that is sold on Amazon is on any Amazon restricted brands list. Now, normally to do this, you might look at individual lists. For example, I have a spreadsheet where I keep a record of some different lists, and you can go to each list and you can look for the brand individually on each list, right? Now this, of course, takes considerable time to check more than one list. So what I'm going to show you is using Google, how you can check all of the lists that are on Google all at one time. And the way you do this is you go to Google and you type in quotes Amazon restricted brands list. That's step one. And what that will do is it only pulls up results that say or that contain Amazon restricted brands lists somewhere in the title or in the web page. So you're going to get a lot of different lists that pop up on different websites. Now, the second thing is to add the brand name to the search. So in a separate quote, okay, because you have to use a separate set of quotes because this text the brand name is apparent as a separate piece of text on that page, right? These are two separate things that we're looking for, but we're looking for them in the same website. And so what will happen is that you will get any results that have both of these in it, and as you can see, they will even highlight, right? Google highlights those results for you. So when you click into that link, you will in fact find out that this is an Amazon restricted brands list, and that brand Cuisine Art is actually on that list. And then I'll go back one, and you'll see that there are some other lists as well, like this one, and it's on this list as well. So this way, if you scroll down, you'll see Cuisine Art here. This way, I did not have to check those two different lists one at a time. Google is essentially checking those lists for me. Now, I'm going to do this example with more brands, right? Because part of this video is also to teach you a bit about brands on Amazon. Now, here's a brand. Now, first of all, let me actually go back to that brand. I want to point out that this Cuisine Art brand, that this doesn't go for everyone, but I don't have approval to sell it. The point is, it requires you to apply for approval. If it did not, I would have approval, right? So in order for some seller not to have approval on a brand, it means that that's a brand that people have to apply for, right? So okay, I would have to apply to sell this brand. However, I'm going to show you another brand, which is Brookstone. And here's a brand where you do have approval to sell the brand. Okay, I can sell this brand. Okay, if I click new, I can click sell this product. Once you see sell this product here, you know you can sell the brand, right? In fact, if you don't see apply to sell, you can sell the brand. Okay, but here's the thing about this brand. Even though Amazon gives me approval, watch what happens when I change this brand name to Brookstone. Okay, you'll see that Brookstone also comes up on those same restricted brands lists. Brookstone, Amazon restricted brands. Here's another result. Okay, it's on this one as well. So it's on the same two list. Here's a third list that's on that list as well. Okay, it's on this list as well. So the more lists you see this brand on, the more convinced you should be that there's something that this brand somehow is very restricted. Right, I see it on 5 different lists. So here it is on this list, right? Brookstone. Okay, it's right here. Okay, and I'm gonna go back. And again, you don't really even need to check these individually. I'm just doing this to prove that it works. Okay, but actually, once you get these search results, this has already shown you that it's on the web, that it's on all of these different websites. So look at that, right? We've checked that this brand is apparently very restricted. Okay, now let's see what it looks like when a brand is not restricted. So I was on Boscov's, looking at random products, which is something I do sometimes, right? Go to a supplier, try to see if I can discover some brands, right? And I said, okay, let's look at this brand called Bethany, right? Which is also a person's name. So I went to like the home and kitchen section of it, right? Okay, and I see all these different products. Okay, I have approval to sell the brand, right? I can see that, but I want to know if it's on any of these restricted brands lists. So I'm going to go here, just replace Brookstone with Bethany, and notice what happens, right? I don't even get any results. Now, usually you will still get some kind of results, but for whatever reason, I don't get any results at all on this, right? So apparently it's not on any of those restricted brands lists. And in fact, if I were to check some of these lists, and these are actually the same lists that were coming up on Google that I've made a record of, you will in fact, again, just to prove that it works, you won't see Bethany on here, right? It's not on here. Okay, if you check another one like this one, again, you won't see Bethany on here. Okay, it's not on here. All right, so Google is unable to find it on any Amazon restricted brands lists. So now, I'm not saying that this should be the end-all, be-all of your brand's restriction research, because there might be other lists out there which are in PDF format that you can check out if you're a part of a group. Okay, so, but I'm just saying that this is a quicker way to check the lists that are on Google, right? So you don't have to go to each list on Google and check over and over again for that same brand, right? So the quotes make it very exact. That is how Google works. Okay, it will look for these exact occurrences. Always consider, it doesn't really apply here, but okay, let me show you a brand, for instance, like, I already know this is not restricted, but Mainstays, right? Okay, so here's Mainstays. Now, it's not always that the result you get means that it's on a restricted brands list. It just might happen that these two pieces of text are on the same website for some other reason. So if we look at this, I'll click into this and see what comes up. Okay, the page doesn't even work. So, right, so don't just see a result and just say, oh, it's restricted. Okay, there's something wrong here. But you know, now if I had results like I had before, where it keeps showing up on all these different proper lists, that would be a different story. But something I want you to consider with brands is if there's an S, like a plural form, you may want to remove that, because it might be that someone entered it on the list but they forgot to put the S on it, right? Or you could also add the S to it, you know, so that's something you might want to check for. All right, adding an S, removing an S, just little things like that, right? But basically, I don't see anything wrong here, right? So there's nothing to worry about there. Now, you could maintain a complete list of these restricted brands lists, like I do, if you want to like start recording these. I would actually suggest reading these articles, okay, because these lists are usually accompanied with some kind of article explaining about restricted brands, and you should read it, because you know, you can't just get all your answers, not necessarily on YouTube. I mean, it's good to read some actual articles as well. You should watch YouTube videos as well, but you need to read some articles where you have like people who are major sellers and experts on this stuff who write these articles. Okay, but I could always share this Google Sheet with you, actually, come to think of it, if you want a few lists here. Something I also did is I actually took the brands from those websites and I actually just copied and pasted them to Google, but that was before I had this. So what I was doing is I was copying all the brands here into one master list, and then I would look for my brands, make sure they're not on any of the lists in here all at one time. But then I realized that I could use Google to just execute a search operator that will find those exact matches, right? So, but this, you know, it's still something you may or may not want to do. I'm not sure, but I mean, I could share that with you as well. And that's pretty much how it works. Now, one other thing though that I'd like to show, you know, this channel and my channels have to do with Excel. So, of course, I have to show you an Excel sheet, which is my Amazon dropshipping product research template. And what I do is when I look up a brand, I then write the results on the brand. I actually did, what's this, Blackstone? What did I look up earlier? I think it was Brookstone. And then there was Bethany. Okay, let me do Bethany. So I found Bethany on Boscov's, but that doesn't mean that Boscov's is the only place that has it. That's just where I found it. So, and I don't believe it's a private brand. I'll just, if you're not sure, just leave it blank. Yes, it is on Amazon, because that helps. If the brand is actually on Amazon, then you can find products to sell. I didn't find it on any restricted list, so I'm going to say no for now. All right. Approval to sell. I do have approval to sell it. Now, here's another thing. Does it have a store on Amazon? I'm not sure how significant this is as yet, but it's something that I've thought about recently, which is that when you click on the brand name, of course, it shows you the products of that brand. But sometimes the brand has their own store on Amazon. So this brand does not. I would have to think of an example where, let's see. So this brand, well, let me mark this off. Has store on Amazon is no. Sold by Amazon is not really a yes or no. It's what I really mean is it sold by Amazon a lot. So you have to look at the actual products and see if it's sold by Amazon. Brand owner, no, I don't think it's sold by brand owner either. But if you look at, I just want to show you the store example. If you look at Cuisine Art, you'll see that they actually have a store. Okay, this is the one that came up restricted, and I actually don't even have approval to sell this brand, and I don't know if there's any correlation between them having their own store, because I see brands that I'm approved for that do not require approval that have stores, and some that don't. So I don't know if there's any connection with brands having a store and restrictions. I don't have enough data to make that conclusion yet. But it's just something that I have been that I added to my dropshipping product research template, just to know if they have a store or not, right? And if I was doing Cuisine Art, I would put that on here, and I would say it is on Amazon and it is restricted, and I do not have approval to sell it, and they do have a store on Amazon. And so what that means is that this is not a brand I would be researching, because I don't have approval to sell it, and because it shows up on the restricted list, I would personally might just want to stay away from it. But if you apply to sell the brand, you would be fine, right? I would think once you apply to sell the brand, you should be okay. Now, that's pretty much the brand restriction check-in process. This is the software-free approach, right? This is, for people that are not using any kind of software. But there is software which I can also provide a link to that, and that can be used to help you identify ASINs brands that might be at risk to you. But this is really, again, the software-free, somewhat manual approach of helping you check for brands restrictions more quickly. Hope you find it useful. Do check the video to see what links I have down there. I would like to share at least this Google Sheet, and I've shared this one before in another video, but I could always share it again, which is a research template that I use for suppliers, brands, and products. I'm Mr. Mark, and I hope to hear from you or see you in another video. You can always contact me back on the email if you subscribe, or you can leave comments below on the video. Thanks, and take care.